Do you want to know how an evaporated can, Spanish nuns, and a Nicaraguan country club all invented the same cake? Let's talk about the history of Tres Leches cake. In case you're not familiar, Tres Leches cake is a sponge cake that is made intentionally a little bit on the dry side because you're about to super soak it with 3 different types of milk. That's where the title comes from. You're using evaporated milk, sweetened condensed milk, regular whole milk, or maybe some heavy cream, half and half, but you're using 3. Now, the complete origins of this little cake here is a little bit dicey. We're seeing some inspiration that may have come from 18th, 19th century when some soaked cakes were already popular in both England and in Italy. We've got trifles that are made, and then zuppa inglese is an Italian version with a very similar concept. So some of these popular variations kind of intermingling between some of these regions were said to have been brought over to the Americas from Spanish colonizers. So at its core, why would you drench a cake, right? So already had a dried cake, maybe it was the next day or whatever. You're being sustainable. You're being a sustainable girly. You're saying, no, that's not trash. We're going to give this a second life. We're going to douse it with some milk. It's going to be great. People are going to love it. So where on earth did it come from? Let's tap into some of these theories. One theory is that Spanish nuns were in colonized Latin America, and they were bringing some of these things and methods that they knew in the baking world and cakes over there. Think of it like Sister Act, but instead of, I don't even know what they were trying to do, start a choir and win a competition, they were just having like their version of Bake Off. Our next theory comes from Nicaragua in a country club where the cook there was said to have had European influence in their cooking skills and techniques, probably made trifles, and now is there. As part of their soak, they incorporated an evaporated milk. Now, evaporated milk started out of necessity, but it wasn't hyper popular right away. This was kind of more of an expensive product for the everyday person. Ooh, she fancy. Now, our next theory has a corporation tie-in, surprise, surprise. Evaporated milk and then sweetened condensed milk were both created by Gail Borden, and this was created, early on. But then Nestle has evaporated milk and sweetened condensed milk, and we're moving now into a time where they are putting out their products into different areas like South America, like Mexico, and areas where refrigeration was not really a thing. We're talking about the 1930s and the 1940s. On their packaging, on the labels, they would include a recipe, and so there was one on the evaporated milks for a milk-soaked cake. Out of these 3 theories, which one do you think is the most accurate? And if you want to learn more about the history of Tres Leches cake, you can watch the full episode on YouTube at the I Am Sprung channel, or you can listen as a podcast wherever you get your podcast. Just search for Sprung on Food.